Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. All right. To open the game, find Space Engineers in your list. You can do this by going to the search and searching up Space Engineers. It is right there. Start the game by pressing play. Wait for game to launch. The game has launched. It plays an intro scene, which you can skip by just pressing any button. Skipped. If you do it too early, it crashes the game. You have continue game, which will continue a game. It continues whatever server or whatever game your world you were using last. You have quick start. I don't really want to press that right now. New game, which opens. This is gonna lag. Opens up sandbox story scenarios, PvP, original, and community. We'll come back to this later. Load game, which will have all your files and old worlds. One moment, please. At the top here, these are all these folder options. These are all worlds and these are all worlds. These are all the mod files for old worlds that either or you use or off of friends. And then down below, these are all worlds that you can join, or not join, but you have. Join game can be used to join public servers. I think these are just public games, favorites, history, which is past stuff, LAN, and friends. None of this matters since usually you can just press Control Shift Tab, or not Control Shift Tab, Shift Tab, and then just go click on your friend and join them. Or, no, or continue game to join their server and then enter the password. Options. These are your options. You have the game where you can find just settings. Go through it to look what you want. Display. More stuff that you can go through. Graphics. More stuff you can go through. If you don't have a good PC or you're on a laptop, turn all of this down to low, which also has its issues. But yes, this game is not meant to be run on those things, but it can run on those. Audio. One of the most used channels I use, mostly for. And also changing my sound volume. That is it. This feature is broken. This feature is broken. This feature works. This feature is broken. This feature, what does this do? It probably doesn't matter. It's probably also broken. This feature might work, probably doesn't. That can get turned off. This feature should always be turned off. It is annoying as hell. And here's the control menu. I have never used this control menu. Probably because I've been playing longer than it's existed. You have your controls, where you can find all your controls. HUD on and off, which is tab. Screenshot, which is F12, not F4. Looked around is Alt. First person view and third person to change is V. Static spectator, F9. I don't know. Free spectator, F8, which is only Delta spectator, F7. I think that just goes around to your character. Player control, F6. That's to get out of spectator mode. Signals. This is to toggle which signal mode. There's full, partial, and none. This can be great for when you want to see where a specific signal is, or when you have too many signals on your screen. What? Oh. I've never used this. I've never used that either. Or that. Or that. Screens and menu. Pause game. Never used that before. That is a feature that pretty much is broken. I mean, it works, but the help menu is like horribly outdated. Open warning screen. I've never used it before. Open player screen. I might have used it. I don't know. Blueprint screen. That works. That should be current. This, I believe, has changed. Or maybe it's the same. I don't remember. No, that one works. We'll go through this later. We'll go through that later. Never... Wait. I should go through this area later. Previous color or camera used for painting. Park, which can also have its own issues. Local power on and off. Power switch on and off. Color picker, not P. Go through that later. Toolbars. You don't need any of these. Literally just use the first one. The rest of them, you can use them, but you probably won't. These two also don't matter. Just cycle through them. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Toolbars. Ah, yes. Equip and unequip, which just puts you in your free hand. I don't have that set. I probably should, but I won't. Grids and objects. This feature is broken for me. This feature is also broken for me. This feature is also broken for me. This feature works. This feature works. This feature works. That, yeah, the rest of this shit works. I've never used these two. I usually don't. The toolbar on the block menu is G. This is how to rotate this stuff. You can either just spam it to get it to the way you want it, or in the top right, it will show you a diagram. We'll go over this later. Never used that before. This we'll go through later. I'm just looking through these. There's a button for that? I don't have that toggled because it's off by default. Again, off by default. There's a secondary mode? What do you mean there? What is this secondary mode even supposed to do? This works only if you own the grid, or it's a faction grid. Inertia dampeners, jetpack, helmet. A lot of this we'll go over later. More stuff. This is the basic controls. We will go over this later. And controls. Controllers. Third person, zoom speed, mouse. All the basics. Alright. And finally, you have credits. I'm not clicking that. Finally, you have character. You don't need to worry about this menu, but I will show you anyway. I have bought every single one of these models that is on the workshop at one point in time. This has to do with the loot boxes. Yes, this game has loot boxes. Cry. It's actually pretty fun, and it's actually pretty good. It's worth it if you're playing hardcore mode. You can get a skin. And there is a lot of skins, and there are multiple ways to get loot boxes, which you have to fly to or jump to with a jump drive. They can be anywhere from 4 kilometers away to 20 kilometers away. Or not 20, but 120 kilometers away. And with a max speed of 100 meters a second and a 15-minute time limit to get to them, yeah, they take a while. But they also have credits and currencies and other stuff that you can use in your world for trading. These are skins. I think that's Zoc. All right. Now, here is the sandbox mode. You have the sandbox, story, PvE, original content, and community. You have, starting from Empty World, you have Empty World. You have Red Ship 2, which was to show off one of the DLCs, and the Red Ship V2 retrofit. The Red Ship is one of the first models in the game. Star System, this just has all the planets and nothing else in it. Sparks of the Future, this was to show off another DLC that came out. Pertem Orbiter, it is again to show off another DLC. It also added in Pertem planet. It's a pretty good world for rovers. Asteroid Armory, I have never really played on it. Believe it's either really old or it's to show off a DLC. Probably a Warfare DLC. And then there's Empty World. There's story scenarios, Lost Colony, Learning to Survive, Never Surrender, and Frostbite. Frostbite has a DLC and is broken. Lost Colony is also a story-based one, just like Frostbite, and it's also broken. Learning to Survive works and is also extremely old, like 2017 old. Or maybe this is 2016, 2015. It's old. This game came out in 2013. Never Surrender. I've never managed to finish this one. It just launches drones at you. You just get there and it launches drones at you and you can survive to wave 1000. I have friends that have gotten to there. It takes forever. It's a pain. There's PvP scenarios. Space, Standoff, Uranium Heist, and Scrap Race. I have never played on any of these. Because my friends just don't like doing PvP. Then there's original content. This stuff has been in the game for a long time. Let's start with an old one. Crashed Red Ship. It's the Crashed Red Ship. It's old. It's good. Red Ship. This is just a starter platform. If you're new, you can go on here or not. It doesn't matter. It's got all the basic stuff on it. It's got the big shit crashed. It's got the red ship, but not crashed. Green station. It's got the green station, the easy to penetrate and destroy blue ship, and the red ship, which usually is used to penetrate that ship and break it in two, because it has a long gooseneck. Lone Survivor. I haven't played it. It's got nothing in it. It's like literally this is all that's in it. Rival platforms, it's 2 different faction platforms, probably red and blue, just the same shit. I haven't played it because it's boring. And First Jump. I think this is... Oh, this is the Learning to Survive one. They're basically this. They're 2 different, but I should do one. I should do both again. And then there's Earth Planet. It starts you on a big base on the Earth. That's that. Same platform, but it's on the alien planet, on the moon planet, and on Mars. And then there's Dead Drop Arena. I don't know what this is. It's a PvP thing. And then there's community content. I'm not going to click community content because I don't want to be sitting here for 15 minutes for it all to load, because many people in the workshop upload their stuff on as worlds so it can have all the dependencies and all the mods and all the subgrids on them. But because they do that, I now have 4,000 worlds in this, 4,000 files, and it's going to take forever to load. Anyway, we shall go to learn, we shall go to, which one would be best? I have never been to Redship. Okay. Now there's the customize menu. Right here you have creative mode and survival mode. Down below it you have offline, private, friends, and public. Max players for if it was public or not. Autosaves, remember to always have this on. Over here you can change the name of the file. You can choose mods, which this is how you choose the mods. When you open it up, one moment. It can open up all the mods. I have been playing this game for almost a decade, and so I have built up quite a few. These are mod.io, and this is all very old stuff. MES is pretty common because that's all the NPC mods, and it's a ton of dependencies. AQD are a bunch of quality of life, and a bunch of more. Just explore the workshop, see what you like, see what seems cool. Some stuff is broken. Test it. If it's really cool, test it before you use it because it might be broken. Test out, see how old it is. Some creators make their mods to be really dependable and will last a long time, and some break almost instantly or lag the game to horrible states. There's character inventory, whatever. Block inventory size. I'd recommend leaving this to realistic because on 3x, 5x, or 10x, if you have a flying atmospheric vessel, the higher you set the setting, the more likely you won't be able to leave or lift off with your vehicle. The more thrusters you will require, and the less likely you are to actually be able to leave a planet, because it just your weight just becomes stupid. Assembler efficiency. This is really just the speed of it. No. Yes. No. It is. Yeah. Assembler efficiency is literally just how fast it goes. Refinery speed, again, that's pretty explanatory. Welding speed is for ships and for characters. Grinding speed, same thing. Environmental hostility. This relates to asteroids, safe, normal, cataclysm, and Armageddon. Asteroid amount, this relates to space. None, lowest, low density, normal density, and high density. This just relates to how many asteroids spawn in close density or close proximity to you and everyone else and to each other. Encounter amount, this just relates to enemy NPCs like Spart, which is space pirates, or Factorum, which is Endgame, which I've never fought directly because they are a pain to get to. Yeah. And I think there's one other faction, but I forgot. No, there isn't. It would be spiders, but they don't. They're just spiders. Sound mode, this can be arcade or realistic. I don't really know the difference between the two. Limit world size. This can be used to limit your world size for, let's say, you're running a server. Pretty much you always would be running it in unlimited, though. View distance. Change it to whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. Ship's not this setting is kind of broken because like it'll be 15 kilometers for asteroids, not planets. Planets are infinite. It'll be 15 kilometers for asteroids, but ships will be like 2 kilometers, at least for me. I don't know why. Respawn ship cooldown. This is for if you want to add a cooldown for ship respawn ships. Enable sun rotation, pretty explanatory. Day duration, 2-hour days, 2-hour nights. Max objects, this is for how many grids you want or objects. So this could be like an ore chunk. This could be a small grid block, a large grid block. It does not have to do with bullets or rockets because those disappear after a certain distance, I believe. Global encounter thing, this has to do specifically with Factorum. Pretty much just always put it at 2. It'd be great if it was at 4, but whatever. Animal NPCs, you can have it at 32. You can have it at 512. It doesn't really matter. They will never spawn more than like 12 at a time. And also they spawn maybe never. Like I've seen them, I've ran the game for 16 hours and only had them spawn once. And then if you're on a server, I've had them spawn like every 5 minutes. They would spawn and it would spawn like 20 of them. But that's just because it was a server and not whatever. Block limits, I usually keep these disabled because the game is more fun that way. But if you're of a terrible computer, put them on. Max ship size is whatever for like how big I think how many blocks your ship can be. Max blocks per player, pretty explanatory. Total PCU, different blocks have a PCU count, and so you can only have so many blocks, or like all the PCU added up together. That is how much PCU you can have. Max backup saves, pretty explanatory. Optimal spawn distance, this is how far away you spawn away from each other. Max offline broadcast distance, this is for when you press O and you turn off your antenna as a player or a ship. This is how far away that it will still broadcast you. Auto healing, delete respawn ship. If you leave the world in a server, it would just delete your ship. And if you respawn into a new respawn ship, it would delete your ship. Enable spectator, that is to enable spectator. Copy paste, reset ownership. This is so if you're pasting in a grid, this is so that it would just reset ownership of it. Thruster damage is thruster damage. Go over this later. Permanent death, it's for hardcore if you want to. The game can be pretty buggy, so I mean, play it, use it at your own risk. Cargo ships, this is random NPCs, in-game NPCs. Weapons enabled, destructible blocks enabled, scripting. That's just something in the game. It's all C# or Java. Enable tool shake, it's just animations of your tools. Voxel hands, this is a system for messing with terrain in the game. Planetary encounters are more NPCs and like traders and stuff. Oxygen is oxygen. It's one of the main systems of the game. It's not hard to learn. None of this stuff is. Convert to station. It's for a certain menu in the game. Enable jetpack. There are certain masochists that like to play with this off. You know who you are. Enable voxel destruction. It's for there. Enable wolves, that's NPCs. Remote block removal, I have no idea what that does, which means it's probably new. Enables players to remotely remove own blocks to free up their PCU limit. That would make sense. I never play with PCU, ever. Enable friendly rocket damage. This is for if you have two rocket turrets next to each other and you have a ship shooting each other, like let's say these things right here are shooting each other, and there's one on the right here and one on the left right here, and this one hits this rocket turret right here, it will blast that rocket turret off your ship. Economy is economy. Enable weather systems. It's okay. Enable lightning damage. On certain planets, there's lightning storms, and they can destroy your blocks. Enable temporary containers. This can be pretty useful and also really hell. Depends where you are. Without it, if you get rid of a block and it has an inventory inside of it, like a cargo container, and it has stuff inside of it still, when you get rid of it, it will have, instead of dropping everything everywhere, if it's toggled on, it will just have a container that you can start grabbing stuff out of. Unsafe piston impulses. I don't know why they added that. It's probably for some performance thing. Unsafe torques. Again, it's probably some performance thing. These are relating to pistons and rotors. Share an inertia tensor. I don't know why this is an option. This should always be on, because if you don't have it off, it causes clang. Scrap drops. I don't. Oh, this is for if you destroy a block with, like, let's say a rocket, or like you crash into the ground and your ship gets destroyed, it just drops scrap everywhere, but not a lot. Aim assist, this is pretty much only for console. Bounty contracts, this is something to do with economy. Super gridding, I don't know. This has been an option for a very long time. It's longer than I've been playing, and I've been playing since 2018. It's just something in the game. I don't know. Probably has to do with clang drives, which is a type of propulsion. I'll show you it later. Enable progression. It's the progression system. Enable unknown signals. This is the loot drop. This is the loot box system they have in the game. Enable subgrid damage. This is for if you have you have a main grid and subgrid, and you fly and your subgrid isn't connected and the game clangs out, that subgrid can phase into your block and just into your ship and start destroy itself, and also destroy your ship. Enable spiders, enable drones, enables drones. These are just enemies. Spawn with tools. This feature is in the game because tools are made up of a lot of components, a lot of resources, and you can exploit this by just dying and killing yourself constantly by pressing backspace and yes, and just keep killing yourself. Just spawn with tools and then stick them in a assembler and then disassemble them. Counter argument to that, just make a large grid drill on a piston and drill down, and you will get like maybe 1,000,000 times more resources, but you just have to refine it all down. It is absolutely hellish to have this feature off. Unsupported stations. This is for like if there's structural integrity in a game. So like if you're on a station which won't move whatsoever, it's a static grid, and you have unsupported stations, if you make a free floating block with this thing on, that free floating block will not fall to the ground. With it off, that block will fall to the ground, as long as it's recognized in itself as being a no longer a static grid, which that can bug out. Air tightness is to get oxygenated environments, just like rooms that have oxygen in it. Third person view, turning this off as hell, but this is to have third person. Random encounters, I think I've gone over that. No, I haven't. Maybe not. Random encounters is just random stuff that you can encounter. I don't really know. I think it would be like, I play with so many mods, and I play with so many NPC mods too, so I don't really know what this would be. It's probably just encounters that you can encounter. I don't know. Adaptive simulation quality. I don't know. It's new. It got added recently. Spacesuit respawn. This is a type of respawn method that exists. Destructible blocks destructible blocks. This just lets blocks be destroyed, and that is all. Start. Now I will load the world. And I'm in. Alright, 1 second. So, if you press Control Shift and F10, opens the blueprints. It used to open up admin menu. If I press Alt F10, this opens the admin tools. You have enable creative mode tools, invulnerable, and targetable, show all players, which can show you all players in the world if there were players, can use all terminals, including enemy grids and other players' grids, if they have it kept to private, but that's only a feature if you're an admin on the server. Keep original ownership on paste. This is for blueprints. Ignore safe zones. This is to ignore safe zones. Ignore PCU limits. Again, if you have PCU, you can use this to bypass it. Time set a day just changes like where the sun's rotation is in the world. We'll put it to right there. You have a bunch of them. Starting from the bottom, PCU. This shows like what every grid that has PCU, and you can go through this list and just remove the largest ones that aren't needed. Match. I think that's a PvP thing. Spectator tool. I've never used it ever. I believe people like Splitsy would use it for like mission. I don't know the word. I can't say the word right now. Machina? Mechana? I don't know. Machina. Mechana. Movies. There's weather. This can be changed to force a random weather condition, create lightning, like just select and force one of these weather types. There's many, but those are all mostly like the same shit, just on different planets. Create, replace, and remove. There are also commands to remove it, like / remove weather or / weather clear. There's economy. You can use this to give yourself money, currency. The replay tool, same thing with the spectator thing to use for filming and making the scenes for videos. You have global permissions. This is what, if you're in a multiplayer server, and you're not bypassing it with creative tools and stuff, this is what you can set to just like what allow all the players to do. Safe zones. I've never messed with this one because safe zones are pretty much only something for on big servers. Figure it out. I don't know. Entity list. You can use this to go through and find out where all the entities are, all the different ships, the station, and a small grid. You can use this for, let's say, admin cleanup. When you have 1,000 grids that are 1 block large, you can sort by, you have grids, you can go by small grids, and there will be, you can scroll down, and there will be 1,000 small grids down here, and you can just select them all, which would be like shift, click, and that selects everything. But there is also control click, which will individually select stuff. And so then you can just start going and removing grids. There's large grids to a different selection type of them. Characters, floating objects, which this would be like floating objects specifically relates to scrap and items, components, ores, ingots, and that type of stuff, and it's just floating around. Maybe it's in voxels, maybe it's inside of a planet because it fades through the ground. Maybe it's moving 100 meters a second in some direction, and it's just moving away from players, and it's 1,000 or 20,000 kilometers away, and it's just causing lag. Use this to just delete it. There's planets, which there are none in this world. Asteroids, all the different asteroids around. Yeah. Removing voxels from these asteroids by mining does blow up the world file size of worlds and can cause corruption. So do remember to take blueprints of your stuff occasionally, but you don't really have to. It also takes a large amount of voxel damage to actually bloat it up pretty big. Like, a lot. Like, maybe 20 of these nah. Like, maybe 5 asteroids would be enough to get, or maybe 2 asteroids would be enough to bring it up to, like, a gigabyte in size. Mind you, these asteroids are massive. They're much larger than your ship, and they're much larger than like many of your ships. Okay. Then you have sort by. You have grid name or display name, block count, which it shows you on the right. So this big ship has 3,615 blocks. The blue ship has 1,496. The platform 2310 has 623, and then it just goes down until you have this grid that has 1 block. You can use this sorting method to, again, if you have 100 of these blocks that have 1 grid, or like 5 blocks total, you can just delete them all. Mass. This is how heavy an object is. Owner name is who owns the block. Distance from center is how far it is away from the center of the world. There's also distance, there's speed, so how fast it's going. So let's say it's moving 100 meters a second. It's a block that's 5 blocks large, and it's just floating away. Just remove it to get rid of some lag and bring up sim speed a little bit. Distance from player. Sometimes you'll have grids that are, again, like 30,000 kilometers away from players because they've been moving at 100 meters a second for a couple days of IRL time, and you just never notice them or never do anything. Owner last logout, I don't know. It's a multiplayer thing. And this tells you the PCU of ships. You can have a cap usually of around like 100,000 or 1,000,000, and this big ship only has 14,000 PCU. Okay, what did I go through? Gone through all of this? Okay, trash removal. This is to do trash removal for this does in the background to set up, and like, you don't really need to worry about this, but for servers where you have a bunch of players, or for if you are just in a world with a bunch of friends, it's modded and you're running it for a long ass time, this can be used to just like just does trash cleanup. So like blocks that are really small, unpowered, don't have power, don't have a beacon, don't have a bunch of stuff, go through those options, select what you want, and then it will just remove them over time. Cycle objects cycles through all the different stuff. So currently it's on characters, but it can go through all the different things, all the different grid types and stuffs, because certain stuff causes lag. So like most active drills, welders, and grinders cause a lot of lag. Reactors, production things. Oh, production blocks also cause a lot of lag. Sensors, because they have a bunch of sensors, they have to sense shit constantly. They also cause a bit of lag. Not noticeable, but they do. Thrusters, they can cause lag, but you need a lot of them, like a couple thousand, which I do have a few grids that I could paste in. I could post in one of my friends' this one. Wheels, there will be some people that have small grid ships that will have like 40 wheels or maybe 100 wheels on them. I mean, it's funny, and they're good, but they exist. Static objects, they are just objects that cannot move, whether it be station or asteroid. Floating objects, I currently have none, but that would be like a steel plate on the ground. GPS, there are no GPSs currently. Planets, none currently. Owner's login time. probably where people last logged out or something. Go back to characters. Here I am. There is the remove option just to remove it. I'm not doing that to myself. There's the stop. This is to stop a grid that's moving 100 meters a second. It just immediately removes that, reduces them to 0 meters a second. Depower, which depowers the grid, just turns everything off. Player control, which is what I'll use in a second. Teleport here, so if I'm far away, I can use this to teleport my character there, and then simulate all locally. I don't know what that does. Anyway. And that's that. Alright. Now that we've skipped over all the advanced and admin tools and stuff, let's go over some of the basics. There is WASD to move back, forward, and left. Because this station has gravity, one second, if I jump, it has gravity. Normally, you wouldn't have that in space. That is because of this block right here, a gravity generator. You can click on it to open this menu. You can press F. You can press I, or press I. Nope. That opens your inventory. Press F. I think you can press K on it. And that opens up this menu. There is inventory, control panel, production info, factions, comms, and GPS. Currently, we're functioning on control panel. There's also remote. This is the grids, if they have an antenna and remote and some other stuff, just to get access with it. It can be useful later on in the game. And block transfers. Occasionally you'll have a red box right here on a grid that you don't own, and you have to press it because in 2 hours it will just despawn the ship. Alright, this is a gravity gen. If I turn this off, which this is all the different menus and like just sets all the gravity. If I turn it off, there's still gravity. Oh, because of that probably. One moment. Search bar, gravity gen, off. There's no gravity. And I just turned off my jetpack by pressing X, so I will slowly drift away. But because we have magnetic boots, you can run around and you don't have to constantly be using a jetpack and stuff. Shift makes you sprint, and if I just jump, no gravity. Nothing's gonna pull me back. I don't have inertia dampeners on. If I press X and go up, and go around and fly, if I press Z, this turns off my inertia dampeners. I start drifting. This can be incredibly useful and also lead you to die. Alright, one moment. I need to turn that back on. This is your med bay. Use it to regain health, oxygen, electricity, and hydrogen. And then right here, if I were to click on this and enter it, it opens up this opens up all the skins, so I can change all the skins I have on my current self, so I can be a slime suit. I don't have the chest, apparently. Okay. Didn't know I didn't have that. Or I can be a racing suit. Or I can be a party tuxedo. I can change my color. And now I'm gray. And now I'm black. Ghost. Neon. Here you have the inventory system for an O2. H2 generator. This produces hydrogen and oxygen. Right here, if I cross this, it opens up the inventory for this. Right here is hide empty. This is for if you want to search for something specific, it just hides it. But if I untoggle it, you got the assembler right here, the connector, more connectors, Gatling turrets, grinders with a grinder pit, a large cargo container, which has, I'll go over that in a second, oxygen refinery, and a cargo container. And then nuclear reactors. Nuclear reactors are a type of power source. There are also solar panels, wind, which only works on planets that have an atmosphere. Solar only works if you're in the sun, and then there's nuclear reactors. And those are the three really big power types. There's also batteries, but that's just a way to store power. But they also start with power. They start with some free power. All right. In this cargo container, you have components like these girders, these small steel tubes, plates, and thruster components, and all of these. You also have ammunition like these magazines, these rockets, and there's ammo boxes that we saw earlier. More components. These are all just, I think this is like every single component in the game. And then you have the ingots. You have gravel, magnesium, cobalt, nickel, silver, silicon, and iron. These are the ingots that you need to craft all of this stuff above. Yeah. Alright. Right here is a refinery. This turns ore into ingots. These ingots can then go into this assembler right here. The ingots will go in this top part. Components will go down in there on the production tab right here. The assembler will take the ingots from wherever they are in the inventory, if they are piped up correctly, and they will start crafting stuff. Let's say if I press control and then click on the thing, it produces Qs 10 to be produced. If I go to the inventory, it grabs the ingots and it makes 10. If I press shift and click it, it makes 100. If I do that for shift and control, it makes 1,000 and adds them to the queue. There's also the disassembly queue. You can press disassemble to disassemble this all. This has diminishing return. You only get about 70% of what you put in there. This is a large cargo container. It has a mass right here, which is a weight of it. This can be useful for if you're on a ship, or if you're on a ship or something, you're trying to leave an atmosphere and you're just too damn heavy. Your stuff will most likely be in your large cargo container or in your cargo containers, and you can find out how heavy it is, and then you can go over the items like this one right here, and it says that it is 1 million, or it says it's 1,260 kilograms, which isn't really all that much. And then over to the right of it, you have volume. It has a max currently, because it's on realistic, it has a max of 421,000 liters. And right here is the left is how much it currently is at. And that is that. You can tell when this thing is full by when this is the same number as that. That doesn't really matter for that. Again, solar panels have to be in the sun for them to be generating power. This is a Gatling turret. It can be used to defend against rockets, missiles, which are the same thing. Okay, it has an on-off switch, show block and terminal, which will hide it. So you can hide blocks in the terminal, and you can press this button right here to show the hidden blocks. If you remove them, let's say you have, 4,000 thrusters, you can hide them in terminal so that they don't show, and then you can press this thing to show them, and by doing so, when you have them hidden, it just reduces lag. It's just a measure to reduce lag. Show block and inventory screen, we'll go over this later, but it's just to remove it from that one. And the toolbar config, again, it's just a way to remove it from that. Sometimes it can be just nice if you don't want enemy players to find it. The name just changes the name, so if I just put a 1 in here, you can see on the left that it's now has a 1 next to it. So let's say I don't want to have this be named a Gatling turret. This is now a machine gun. Gun turret. I renamed it. It's just something that you can do. Show on HUD. This is so that if I were to look at it, this turret is now, it just shows on HUD. This can be used to find blocks and stuff in the game. You have custom data. This would be for script or something, or modding, and then shoot once. It shoots the turret once. Shoot on and off. Turret is shooting. You control the turret. You can shoot shit like what? What? I can shoot myself. Shoot players. Shoot ships. Shoot solar panels. They have a damaged state and they explode. It's reloading. Okay, I'll stop having fun. Other than that, they have a maximum AI aiming radius. Enable idle movement. You can turn it on or off. If you have it on, it's an easier way to tell that this thing is on from a third-person view of when you're flying a ship. When you have it off, it's, well, it just saves on lag because it's not a random turret moving around. Target meteors, target missile rockets, target small ships, target large ships, target characters, stations, neutrals, and enemies. These are all just different things you can target. And then you can have a target options. This is what it will prioritize, so it can be weapons, propulsion, and power systems. If you take out the weapons, the ship just doesn't have weapons anymore. Take out the propulsion, it will start drifting places. Take out the power, it's dead. The ship is dead and will start floating away. Which means you've saved the weapons, but it's now floating away and you have to find a way to stop it. This is a grinder pit. If these grinders were on, I could take one of those ships, dump it in here, and it'd start grinding it away. Oh, this is a damaged state. Because I damaged these things, I pressed G to open up this menu. Because I damaged these things, it will show on the right when I go close that these are at 64% and that they're missing a bunch of components. Components are the health in a block. So like something like refinery, one moment, refinery, because it has 1,000 steel plates and a bunch of different components, that is its health bar in this thing. Once it has a damaged state like this, where it starts sparking, it's on fire, it's smoking, it's deformed, that means it's damaged, and it's not probably going to work all that well. Or it's about to break. Conveyor networks. Right here, there is a car container on this. That is so that if this thing gets severed, it will have, the gun will still have ammunition. But this is a conveyor network. For your stuff to pretty much all work, it all has to be conveyed. And so you would have conveyor networks going all the way to everything. Notice how they are using pipes and not junctions everywhere. If you put 1,000 junctions on something, it will cause lag. That is why you use pipes, because the game only has to render and process this point right here and that point right here connecting to this. It does not have to render all 6 sides. Well, not render, but the CPU doesn't have to process it all. That is a nuclear reactor. So what? I've covered health. I've covered H2. This thing produces oxygen and hydrogen. Oxygen goes in this oxygen tank. There's also a hydrogen tank, probably. Yeah. Nope. No hydrogen tank right here. Oh well. way up here? Nope, those are collectors. You have a beacon right here. This has a massive range. It can be used to just have a location for where your base is, where your ship is, whatever. Nuclear reactor, it consumes uranium, which is a resource that you will refine. It's one of the 3 or 4 resources that just take a long ass time and also does not give a lot of. And it can be consumed in a nuclear reactor for power. It is the best power source, but it also has consumption. I was playing with mods that would tell you the consumption rate of it, so like how many grams of uranium it consumes, because Keene is in Britain or wherever they are. Everything is in metric. I don't know if there's a way to use feet and stuff, but I don't play that way. This is a control seat. There are many different types of control seats. They can use to be control grids. As you can see in third person, in the grid, I am in third person, and I can use Alt to just rotate around. In the bottom right, I can press Y to depower the grid. It turns off everything. To the left of that is O. If we were to look at this beacon right here, if I were to press that, it's not working right now. I mean, it's turning off the antennas and stuff, but it's not really doing anything. Key is to get rid of parking brake. So let's say I have this block right here, and it is connected. If I were to press P, it will undock that. But if I have multiple different grids that are attached to multiple landing gears and I press P, it will undock all of them. Which means that if you're moving and you mean to undock the ship and then you press that, you can just undock all of them. Or let's say you're parked on your rover and you're parked on a slope and you accidentally press P, your rover will start going down the slope. And if it doesn't have working suspensions that aren't fully built or wheels, there will be no way to stop it or control it or steer it. It is going to be destroyed. Probably. If you're lucky, it's not. The basic 3 tools. You have the welder. You have components that you put inside your inventory you use to weld stuff up. The grinder. And the drill. The drill is used for, let's say, this ice or stone. I can use it to left mouse, drill, and collect some ice. And now I have ice, which I can use to process into oxygen or hydrogen. Right click drill will create a larger mined area. Let's say you don't want it left click and create items and just get through an asteroid and it takes a while. You can right click and it will get through it a lot quicker, make a much larger hole, and get to where you want to be quicker. Press L to turn on lights. X is hydrogen, or is your jetpack. J takes off your helmet. I'm invulnerable, but if I wasn't, I would start dying and taking damage. O is the broadcast for your character. Q is roll. E is roll. WASD. C is down. Space is up. I lagged. Sorry about that. Unidentified signal over there. That is 1,268 kilometers, and along with another one that is very far away. 7,172 kilometers away. Those are Factorium. Those are endgame. I'll show you those off later. Grinders. Use this to grind a block. You can get the components back from this. Because I'm in creative mode tools, Currently isn't working. It also might be because I'm in creative mode, whatever. Right click to delete blocks, left click to place blocks. There's this red plate right there all across this that is mirror and symmetry mode. That is toggled on by N in the bottom below the thruster, the 5 and 6, right here where I'm selecting them at the very bottom. You have that N. I turn it on, I press it, and it turns on symmetry mode. If I press M, I can change where I want it to be. So let's say I want to have the symmetry mode there. I can have it there. I can have it there. If I press M again and again, it will change what different type of plane I want. So let's say I want to have my plane right here. And then if I press M again and again, while looking at the object, I can have a different symmetry plane right here. Now I have a bunch of symmetry planes. Now, because this is an odd style ship, it's not really going to work best. Now I can press N twice, and I can press Shift and click. No, Control and click. Because I'm Control and clicking, it will make a line. Now, if I pressed Shift, it makes a plane of blocks. So if I were to do that, now there are a bunch of blocks in a bunch of places. Pretty simple. Middle mouse click allows you to paint. If I have my paint, because I have all the DLCs, I have all the paints here. So let's say instead of using this, so the red ship, I could paint, if I were to press Shift and middle mouse, it paints an area. If I press Control and middle mouse, it paints again an area, but a smaller area. But if I press the two at the same time, it did 1,000, but this time it does everything. The whole entire grid is that. Because it is obnoxious, I will change it back to its regular color, and I will use futuristic. Pretty cool. Alright. One moment. Better. Doors that you can interact with by pressing F. If you were to press K on that, it just opens up the inventory, and yeah, F is to interact with it, K is to open up the control panel, and I is to open up the inventory on this. If I were to look at this control thing right here, I can go to it, and it wouldn't. Control panel isn't accessing it. But there's no inventory on that. If I were to go to this, press I, because it's a cargo container, it immediately goes to its inventory, even though I'm not looking at the cargo access part. Right here, if I press F on it, because it's an interact button, and this is the cargo container, and that is the panel that is the access panel to the cargo part, it just opens up the inventory. But if I look at this, it opens up the control panel. There's a window. Sorry, I haven't played. You have the front here. What the? Wait, this is the old version, right? No, this is the new version, I think. I don't know. I'm not used to this front section actually existing. I'm used to the crashed red ship. It usually is broken as hell. All right. These are button panels. Press F. It'll open. I just vented everything. Here's the control room. Go up a little bit higher. I believe this is a way out. Yep. Way up here is a bridge. Here is a gravity gen. here is the medical bay. But oh, those are hangar doors. And here's a cockpit. No other access. Down there was the CIC. And now I have this. There's a first person view. I can press V. And that's really not a good color for this. By pressing some buttons that are by pressing brackets, you can change what color you changed it to. One second. H to turn off signals. Z to turn off dampeners. So now I'm just drifting. Now, you need to have gyros. If you don't have gyros, you won't be able to move. I'm moving with my mouse right now. Yeah, so you need to have gyros to move this stuff. I have my missile selected, so if I just fires off missiles. And here's the reason why people say that the blue ship is garbage. I don't know. Need to get to my area. If I turn myself around, I will have more thrust. This is the reason why no one likes the blue ship. Usually I aim off. Sayonara, blue ship. No one likes you. For this one specific reason, you are not a goodly built ship. Oh, well, I'm gone. The blue ship got severed. Red ship is floating away. I know the flight control got deleted, but like... I can press Control Z to lock onto it. If I press open the G menu, this shows all the different blocks that you can have. A lot of these you wouldn't have, you just bought the game, because I own all the DLCs. Progression tab right here. To unlock all these blocks, you have to have built this block and a bunch of other blocks, and that is that. To build a block, you drag it to your hotbar. I did this earlier, and then you can just place it. If I didn't have admin tools, it would show up as... When you first place the block in survival, it will be in a build state like this, and it'll have 1 steel plate in it. You will get 25 steel plates or 24 steel plates, and you start welding it up. And it'll finish its build states, and then it'll be all the way built. And you're good. Now, because I have all the DLCs, I don't have to use the basic cockpit. I can use whatever one I like. I can switch to, because it has a plus on it, I can switch and change which ones it is. So this is the industrial, this is the cockpit. Apparently that's all there is right now. What the hell? That's the helm. control seat. You have this control seat right here. You have the other control seat, another control seat with a smaller one. You have the helm. You have, and that's that. So many options to choose from. Oh no. Damn. I guess where the gravity is, I can't actually get on. Oh well. What is the damage that I took to this thing? The front section where my fucking seat was is gone. That's it. This thing has a jump drive on it. It has a jump drive. A jump drive is used to travel very long distances. Currently it's set to 100%. It needs a large amount of power and takes a large amount of time to jump or charge all the way. It can be increased by having more batteries because batteries just have a large amount of, just act like capacitors and you can dump energy into them. Currently 2 sparks thing just spawned. They disappeared instantly. If I go into F8, this activates spectator. And because I'm in a control seat, it will move that ship to wherever. Now, what I was going on about the blue ship, here's the front section. God knows where the other, oh, that's the back section. God knows where the other section is. It got destroyed. Probably. I'm tired. Alright. By pressing shift and scroll wheel, you can change the speed at which you travel spectator. And this is a Factorum station. There's only like 8 of them. I've never seen this before. Cool. Factorum has Factorum blocks in them. You can only get them. You can only salvage and take them with you. Now, if I were to control space here, it just spawned it in, and they are not happy, and they're shooting me, and they're screwing me over, and they're messing me up, and they like shooting my thrusters. Now, I'm angry that they like shooting my thrusters, so I'm gonna be a very mean, angry Taro, spiteful, and ram their station. Now, above 10 meters a second at the bottom left, anything above 10 meters a second causes damage, whether that be voxel or otherwise. And now I am Now, these guys are being mean and very rude, and my tutorial is basically over because I don't know what else to cover. I covered the end menu, covered the team menu. Have I covered the team menu? I think the warheads just got activated. That's what that sensor is. Covered with JXOL, or Z. Tab is to hide your HUD. Oh, it's floating. They shot my power out, finally. I guess below my gyroscope, which is number 7, is right here. Below my gyroscope, when you click it, you can see the 2 cycles. That is where you tell if it's small grid or large grid, but also if you just block it, it's either tiny or it's large. I don't understand how people say this game is hard. There's not that many systems. There's really not. It's a sandbox game. One last thing. If I press control, oh, it's not a multiplayer. If I press control and there's players here, there's a players tab right here that I can click on, and you could set your ranks and promotion and what layer or whatever. If you promote the players, that will just make them admins. Shit. And finally, for the grand finale, F10. This is a horrible ship, don't use it. Oh yeah, this one's heavily modded. 209, or what is that? 29,000 blocks made by death. The other one's like 300,000. Copy. You don't have some mods. Yeah, no. Look at this ship. Look at all that turrets, fam. I don't think this thing can fly. I mean, I think it can fly. I don't know if that's... This is what I like to call ship. Just a couple of doors. Mind you, this is a tier 3 grinder. Doors take a while to grind, especially with the lowest tier. I think everything is dead, by the way. Or turret. We made this ship like in 2019. It's not built. Turret. Mandatory. What is this room? Is this just your shitter? Yeah, it's just the shitter. God, this area is so bad. More turret. Yeah, we made that. We spent like a while. More turret. Have fun clearing it. There's there's so many turrets. There's so many angles to. Is that another turret? What is that? Why is there floating blocks? Well, probably because there was a modded block here somewhere. And that modded block doesn't exist. More turrets. More turrets. More turrets. More turrets. More turrets. More turrets. My old room. Turret spam. Bed. More turret spam. Hey, look, a missile launcher. Oh, that was something important, I think. My game's probably gonna crash. I think it blew up. I think. Oh. Did they blow up? What did they blow? Oh, they blew up the jump drives. Yeah, jump drives explode, and they. Oh, the ship's gone. I'm curious what the hell did that, because it has to be this. It hit one of the jump drives and it just chain reacted and cooked off. By clicking a tracking feature on it. Want to play. Oh shit, chain reacted. This thing has two-way jump drives. It also has shields and a bunch of mods on it, so like I understand why. But yeah, that's this game. Have fun with it. No. That's like everything that's in this game. No, stop bugging me for tutorials, Ree.